Hey guys, this is Josh here, and you're here for our first roundtable at look at a movie tonight. We are sitting here going to talk about the new Superman, and I have here with me, of course, my brother Chris Boyd, me, Josh, Daryl, the Spider Man Murphy, Keith, the Raleigh Llama Gibbs, and Jeff, the Geek Wooten, because he is one of the geeks, one of the big guys who brings the great comics to us. We're excited to have you guys here, and I want to talk about Superman tonight. Talk about this new movie. I've been hyped for it. Chris tells me my opinion doesn't count because I'm a huge Superman fan. I've been all over it, but I think it does count. I think every fan's thought counts. So if you guys will start talking about Superman, Keith, as a good friend, tell me, where did you first find Superman?
I first found Superman in my Christmas stocking in the form of underoos.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
early 70s, obviously, as any kid who grew up in that time, uh, not a whole lot of television options, obviously, not a whole lot of recording. This is between the time of George Reeves' television Superman and obviously Christopher Reeve's, first epic Superman movie. But Saturday mornings, I had the Super Friends, and probably more important is Superman was still a comic strip. It was still in the uh, daily paper and in the Sunday funnies. Um, and at that time, uh, a very traditional, Kryptonian, still at that post, war baby boomer era of Superman being for truth, justice, and the American way, and a symbol of that in marketing and packaging and cereals and stuff like that. So if you were exposed to Superman as a kid in the 70s, that was the Superman you knew, either from the Super Friends, Saturday morning cartoons, or later in the decade, obviously, getting towards the release of Superman, the first Christopher Reeve movie.
All right, Daryl, what about you? Where did you first meet Superman?
It was 2008. Um, there was it the New Frontier, I think, the comic that I had back then. Really didn't know too much about it, about comics at the time. I was still kind of trying to get into it, but I started learning about them, and my dad introduced me to the old Superman movies,
Hey, look.
cartoons. So that's where I first found Superman. I gained the interest because I was like, so I was telling myself at the time I was like, should I stop drawing Dragon Ball Z and start drawing Superman? So I kind of made that transition to learn how to draw superheroes back then.
Awesome. Awesome. What about you, Jeff?
Oh, well, we're going back to the time of the dinosaurs, I feel like. I remember I was a big
First
Flash
statesman
as a
of the
kid, and
yeah.
my mom bought me a comic book that had the Flash guest starring an issue of Superman. And that's probably the first Superman comic I've ever picked up is like in the early 200s. Of course, I know him from Super Friends at that time, on Saturday mornings. I used to see the George Reeves TV show in the on afternoon TV, and they showed a two-part serial that was part of the package with Superman versus the Mole Men, which if you see that when you're 7 years old, it scars you for life. uh, because they had these little creatures crawling out from a well. A well, Well, to come terrorize these farmers. And so, George Reeves, Superman came to save the day, but he was also incredibly nice to the mole people, although they looked nothing like anybody else because they were terrifying. But then, I always grew up, reading DC Comics Presents. That was one of my go-to titles for some reason. I always loved that title. So that was a series I always had Superman guest starring with another DC character because I always like to say I was getting more bang for my 35 or 40 cents. So I would try to pick titles that had multiple characters in them when I was growing up. But Christopher Reeve movies, the John Williams soundtrack, even going. I got reignited with Superman through the Bruce Timm, Paul Dini Superman
Yeah.
animated series back in the 90s.
Yes.
And then you go through Justice League with Dwayne McDuffie writing him. So always been a good. He's not my favorite, but I've always appreciated the character, always enjoyed the character. So I was actually looking forward to this movie. So I've had a long. I don't want to give my age away, but a long relationship with Superman. This is like something from the National Enquirer. All of a sudden, I better be quiet. I'll stop now.
Chris, what about you?
All right, so for me, I guess kind of flashback to like I don't know this late 70s, early 80s maybe. Saturday morning, I go get a big old bowl of Fruity Pebbles and fill it up with milk and go sit down and watch the Saturday morning cartoons and Super Friends comes on and
Universe, Superman.
that to me was kind of my first introduction to Superman with that whole show because not only did we get Superman, we get Batman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman, who can't do anything but call fish. But anyway, so but yeah, I mean that's where it kind of started for me. But I've always been a sucker for that old Christopher Reeve movie. I still to this day think that may be the most perfect Superman movie ever made, and it's just hard to top that movie because it is Superman. I mean, it's who we come to expect as Superman. So that's kind of where I kind of stumbled on Superman and comic books in general. So.
And for me, Chris, it was Superman 78. I was born in 1978. That's the first memories I remember of Superman is seeing the original film and just falling in love with Christopher Reeve's characterization, the way he played Superman and Clark. It's just such a classic, iconic movie. The sound of the soundtrack coming on and that music
Absolutely.
just puts you right there.
Who is he? What's his name? Where does he come from? What the hell's wrong? Easy, miss. I've got you. Who's got you? Why are you here?
In the space. Comic wise, I'm sure I read some, Chris, when we were going to the flea markets and all, getting them when we were kids. But comic wise, what I remember is when we were in school and the death of Superman hit. And I started reading them really heavy there. I started collecting
92, 1, 2, 3,
93.
93.
Collecting. I actually still have mine from high school, from the death all the way up to the marriage.
Is it still
I
polybag?
too. Yes, it's still polybag.
It is.
Yeah.
My polybag is on the wall over here, and it's signed by Dan Jurgens and Brett
Oh,
Breed.
nice.
So it's
Question
up
for you,
on the wall.
Josh.
Yep.
Mine is in the box signed by the same two guys.
Yep. I thought I saw Andy come in. Andy, go ahead and join us. Throw your camera up and your mic and get in here with us, man.
Did you ever see it in theaters, Josh? I know you said you were born in 78, but did you
I
see it?
did not get to see it in theaters.
Okay.
Yeah, he was born, and like a week later, we just took him in the theater.
It was
kind
his
of
first
fussy,
memory. It's an amazing first memory.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you can't. I mean, the ground is already all nasty in a theater anyway. So if you have, just born during the screening of Superman.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy, if you can hear me, go ahead and join us, man. Throw your camera up and hop in here with us.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yep. All right, I got
Yeah.
Andy Birchfield here jumping in with us to join the party. Perfect timing, man.
Hey,
So,
Josh,
Mr. Wooten.
while Andy's jumping on here, I'm gonna run back. I'll go ahead and let Keith start. on the end of this one. Kind of, who was like your favorite Superman actor across the whole, gamut there?
I mean, this is obviously what we're going to be talking about a little bit of how, for a comic character, how different the portrayals of Superman can be, whether it's in the movies, the more recent Snyder, Justice Leagues, different iterations within the television series, everything from Smallville, Lois and Clark, all those. The person that embodies Superman to me, when you separate him from the character, is always going to be Christopher Reeve for me. It's just his legacy as a person, not just obviously his, like Mr. Jeff said here, the portrayal of Clark and Kal-El in that first what we're all talking about is the 78 Superman, but just his life afterward and everything that he portrayed has so saturated my mythos of actors who played Superman that I don't think it can be topped, just for what it meant to me and what he embodied as a person. My favorite Superman stories, though, Smallville. Absolutely love how Smallville was able to introduce a bunch of DC characters, and I'm excited. I don't necessarily get that excited about shows and going to a lot of shows anymore, but GalaxyCon coming up has David Austin Green from fame 90210, but in season 9 of Smallville he played why am I blanking on
Metallo, Corbin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
just characters like that you would never see able to be effectively introduced. But Aquaman in Smallville was awesome. Flash in Smallville, Kid Flash in Smallville was awesome. And I just if there was one Superman set or movies or whatever that on that desert island, it'd be Smallville. But Christopher Reeve for me is always going to be the one and only, Clark Kent.
I agree. Andy, while we got you here, before we jump back over to our favorite Superman, where did you meet Superman for the first time?
In a phone booth. No, I started watching with you guys here when you guys were talking about Christopher Reeve. So I was born in '79. My memories of Superman were probably, what I can remember would be probably somewhere on the HBO line or something like that, where it was the first movie, I think, and all I remember is when the three bad guys, I don't remember their names. Trapped in the mirror,
General
Zod.
yeah.
And so I have that memory, and that Superman, if anything, from my childhood, I think, because that was probably the one that played over and over and over and over and over. But that and the big ogre dude who like couldn't get his laser beam eyes to work, so it was really comedic for me when he's like squinting real hard and trying to shoot and nothing's coming out, stuff like that.
Jack O'Halloran. He was
Yeah.
he was a one-time guest at a Fayetteville show.
Yeah. So that's kind of my memories, beginnings of Superman. I've yet to see the new movie. We were supposed to go today, but things just got in the way, so we're probably going to go next week and see the new one.
All right.
But
you might get spoilers tonight.
It's going to happen. I know it's already been happening. So
yeah, I mean, you kind of can't avoid it with social media right now as it is. So
I hear there's a dog in it. I'm not sure which dog it is, and
yes,
but
Benji
and a monkey.
Oh,
there is a dog.
Oh, there's a dog. Is that the popcorn bucket?
That is the popcorn bucket.
Nice.
Hilarious.
There is a dog. Um, Now I'm with Keith on my favorite Superman actor, as far as Christopher Reeve is and always will be Clark Kent Superman to me, just from growing up watching him. Keith, I don't know if you saw the Super Slash Man documentary that James Gunn put out about Christopher Reeve. It's on HBO Max, and it's interviews with him and his wife and kids, from back when he was going through all of his stuff, and it'll bring tears to your eyes. It's just amazing to see how he did embody that character. He's the guy. And as far as Smallville was my show growing up. When it hit, I was there every Friday night watching it. I was on that one, and their portrayal of the JSA when they bring in Hawkman and Stargirl and all of them was really great. What about you, Jeff? Favorite Superman?
Well, it's always going to be Christopher Reeve, but I'm going to give you another name that he always embodies Superman to me, and that's Danny Dark, who was the voice of Superman in the Super Friends cartoon, because I still hear his voice. It's still, when I would read the comics, I still hear his voice in the comics, pre John Byrne Superman, but I can hear his voice in those comics, fighting the Legion of Doom. Um, it- he was really just way his voice was. Had that sound of Superman, and okay, it was limited animation. They would sometimes get the costumes mixed up, add an extra arm to people, to the characters. But hey, it was the 70s. You rolled with it. That's what we had.
Yes.
But Danny Dark I don't think he gets enough recognition. But for a certain age of Generation X, I think he is definitely one of the stalwarts of being a Superman. So I'll go with the animated one there and I did really enjoy the Tim Daly version in the Superman the animated series.
Yeah.
But which but Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor. It might be my favorite Lex Luthor is Clancy Brown. But we're not talking about Lex Luthor right now. But my vote will go to Danny Dark.
Okay. What about you, Daryl?
Nicolas Cage.
Nicholas
I'm
Cage.
joking. I'm joking.
His one shot.
It's a valid choice.
Yeah.
Now I would go with Henry Cavill, and the reason why is because like watching his movies, I kind of got drawn into that character. Especially after like watching over and over again, I blame Zack Snyder for that. So I like I like the way he portrays Superman, and I feel like the direction that they were going, like in Justice League, was pretty good until they got down to him fighting Darkseid, and it kind of like cut it right there. So it kind of got me in my feelings. I'm like, okay, I want to see Superman versus Darkseid for once.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give it to Henry on that one.
All right. Andy, favorite Superman actor?
So I'm gonna go with Daryl on the Henry Cavill, but like my childhood kind of, I don't want to call it childhood, but more of the middle high school years was Lois and Clark. Dean Kane, I think is what his name was. I couldn't stop watching that series. I really liked him in that. He was more grounded, I think, for sure. I mean, we didn't have the bells and whistles of technology and the fun little things that they could do now, So, but yeah, Cavill's. I mean, come on, Besides him being Wolverine, he's a better Superman.
Chris?
Yeah, I hate to be cliche, but for me, it's still Christopher Superman to me.
Yeah.
I mean, he embodies, like he said, everything that Superman is. Now, I did enjoy Lois and Clark, the series, Andy, but I was watching for Terry Hatcher more than I was for Dean Cain. So I probably didn't, pay attention to Superman as much. As every guy my age at that time was probably watching for that reason alone. But I will give a huge shout out to the recent Superman show that was on. The Adventures of what Superman and Lois, Josh,
Yeah,
was it that
yeah.
what it's called? The CW. I thought that was done real well too. And in the last episode, if you didn't cry just a little bit when you watched that one, you might not be human. So it was done very well. So
Yes, most definitely. Tyler Hoechlin did an amazing job as Superman and Clark on that show. It was really, really great to see a different take on the character. Um, you know, it'll always be Reeve, but there are others who like the other guys, so I get it. So our next thing is, what did we know when we went into this movie? What were our expectations? Andy, I want to start with you because you haven't actually seen it yet. So what are your expectations for the movie?
So let put it this way. The issue with DC movies is their rap is not all that great in the long run. But lately I've been going in with like zero expectations. Probably the best way to go into it, other than what we see and what they show us on TV for the previews, because I'm not going to expect anything, because I feel like they just need to make original stories that maybe plot twist or change or add new characters or make it a lot more um kid pull. I guess the best way, more where people want to watch it again. You don't see a lot of movies like we used to see when we grew up, where we're like, I got to go to the movies and see that again like 4 times
Yes.
Yeah.
because I missed something. And maybe this movie is that again. That might be the expectation, I would say, with the way they talk about it. I feel like this one's really geared towards kids more than anything else in reality, because you are pushing a dog. I mean, to the fact that they said 400% in dog adoptions in the last week since it opened, really. And I mentioned it to Ellen, and she said, "Well, yeah, they did the same thing during COVID where everybody adopted them. Now what's going to happen?"
Yeah.
So maybe Superman 3, 2. I'm not sure. With the cat, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. I feel like, and having seen it, I've seen it twice, Andy, and I would go see it again.
Yeah.
The whole crypto plays a pivotal role in the film. He's really good in there. But James Gunn does a good job of balancing all the characters he has in there. And he's able to cover these characters in a way that we like it, and we're able to get a little background on them without having to see the spaceship crash to Earth.
Yeah, I don't need to see that again. I don't need to see baby Superman. I'm okay with that.
He does a good job with that.
Yeah, I don't think James Gunn is a fan of, like, he made a statement recently about certain things he doesn't want to see again. And I agree with him on that, because we're always seeing, even in comics, we're seeing like some of the same stories, and it's like it gets tiring. So I mean, I understand, like, like I get it. Not everybody watches these movies, and everybody there are some people I talk to that say they don't read comics, they watch the movies to understand what's going on, like in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, how many fathers does Superman have?
For those of you who saw it, where did you see it?
I saw it at Greenville at the Golden Ticket Cinema. I saw it Thursday night, opening night at like 9:30 that night. And then last night I saw it again here in New Bern. We saw it on the what is it, the Epic screen they had in Greenville.
Elite.
The Elite.
Elite, yeah, the Elite
The
cinema.
Elite. Is that where they shake your seats? What is that? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's because the bass is so loud it shakes your seats.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a 4D. It's not a 4D experience like Bug's Life at Disney.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not a 4D. It's just like laser projection, really clear picture, 11.1 DTS sound, and heated reclining seats. So if the movie's boring, you can just take a nap.
I'm not paying that.
I don't need
to take a nap because I'm doing a movie. I keep the seat.
I don't know. I don't need a heated seat. I go for the air conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I will go see a movie for the fourth or fifth time if I've got some sort of deal program going on just to take a nap in the cold air. So I saw it at the Alamo in Raleigh, and I will say that if you don't know the characters and you don't know backstory, man, the Alamo does such a great job with their pre-show shorts, and
Oh, nice.
sometimes they're wacky. They show cartoons, they show clips and montages of all the other things. So it's just a cool experience when if you've never gone to see a movie at the Alamo, the before the movie, before the previews things, it's a lot more than let's all go to the lobby. It's they showed Superman in Pakistan or something. That guy has got plastic surgery to look like Superman, and his whole gig is to just go to small towns and cheer people up.
Mm.
I've only been there one
So
time. I'm impressed with how they actually, as for like movie lovers, the Alamo, the time I went, and I was impressed how they did their pre-show and things like that and get everybody up to speed. And
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, the Alamo is a nice. I've been there a couple times. It's a nice theater.
I feel like I'm in
Cool
a
deal.
food line when I go there, though. I feel like there should be a food line right next door to it.
Oh, nice.
They probably are all in old Food Lions
Yeah.
because everyone
There's
I've ever
probably
been
a
to is in
Chinese restaurant close by.
a chiropractor on one side and a beauty supply place on the other, I think.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm just saying. So I as such a well-known character, even if people as we age, even though we're bringing it from our youths here, it's hard to believe that there are people out there that don't know who Superman is, where he came from, came as a baby. I just feel that everybody knows that, but I guess you don't you don't. I just want to believe that everybody knows the origin story of Superman.
Yes. Yeah. And I think James Gunn did a good job of if you didn't know the origin story of Superman or some of these characters, by the time you left the theater, you're ready to go buy some comics and learn more about them.
Yeah. Well, I will say, spoiler alert, a little bit of a spoiler alert. That's what I know we're not talking about the movie yet, but that was one of the things I did like about the movie, into which if you wanted to learn more about these characters, go read, it kind of encourages you to go read the comic books, which I thought, okay, because they just drop you right into the middle of it. And if you want to find out about some of these characters, go read the comic, especially if you're into Steve Lombard and Cat Grant, you can go learn more about
And until you tell me we can talk about it, I want to talk about the opening scroll.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the opening scroll. Let's get in there with that. Let's go, Keith. What you got?
What a great nod to great writing to be able to have such a brief synopsis that doesn't need a voiceover, doesn't anything, 3,000 years ago, 3 decades ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 days ago. It's what made Star Wars awesome, right? When you saw the first Star Wars a couple years before you saw the first Superman in '76, whatever it was, when you had that scroll that sets you up. So in a couple minutes, you know what's going on. It brings everything together. It grounds it. It's not some big flashy opening scene. It was, I don't even know. One of you guys that does lettering would have to tell me, was that Helvetica? Was that Arial? It was just such a simple font, simple way to say, here's what it was, here's where it was going, here's what it is today, and here's what's going to happen. Now, pay attention. It's like bringing that old Superman radio show feel into it, where you just have that brief introduction and then everybody's on the same page. And I think that was a brilliant way to get everybody on the same page at the start of the movie.
I agree. And also the use of the number 3. The Trinity is important in DC.
Yep.
They use the number 3 a lot at the beginning of that movie. And I feel like that was kind of a nod to the Trinity of DC.
Oh, wow. You're going deep dive there. Right, this is very professional, Josh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or,
Yeah.
yeah, but now
I
you're gonna
feel like
come. Now you're gonna say that there's 3 mother boxes, and it's just gonna
No,
freak me
no,
out.
no, no, I don't agree. Now, Andy, I will tell you,
father
the
boxes.
previews, you've seen about the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Because
That's kind of what I figured.
job of condensing it and not showing you things you didn't need to see yet.
Yeah.
You know, actor wise, guys, in this movie, was there standout? Was there somebody who could have been better? Was there, was it spot on? What do you think,
Mm.
I
Jeff?
thought Nathan Fillion got Guy Gardner. I really do.
Nailed it.
I was actually thinking. I was talking with some friends the other night, and I was wondering, is that the first time Guy Gardner's ever appeared in live action or animated? I think he may have been.
Oh no, he's been animated.
Yeah.
Definitely been animated.
But live action, that might be the first time. But I thought he nailed. And I like Mr. Terrific. I'm a huge JSA fan, so I thought the actor who did Mr. Terrific there, when he went with Lois Lane to kind of find the pocket universe or to find Superman,
Yeah.
I thought it was a great. I thought that was like really great how they did that one. So those two stood out for me.
Yep.
And
There-
I
Super,
did
I'll
not
be honest
need.
with you,
I did not need Beck Bennett. I liked him on Saturday Night Live, but I did not need him in a role for a character that I don't necessarily know a lot about.
Mm.
The other guy who's not Jimmy Olsen.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Steve, the sportscaster guy.
Lombard.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't they do something like that with She-Hulk? Or not She-Hulk, the last Wonder Woman, where they took one of the chicks from SNL and made her the bad chick?
Yes.
Yeah, Christopher
And-
Wiig was
Yeah.
Cheetah.
Yeah.
Not. I don't like when they cast the wrong people, thinking that they're
Yeah.
gonna draw people into the movie because they're in it, and I'm like, it just kills it for me because I can't look past her other than SNL in
Yeah.
cases like that. So
Well, that wasn't the worst part of that Wonder Woman movie. The worst part of that Wonder Woman movie was that there was an American armadillo in Themyscira.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
If you're going to bring armored possums to play, come on.
I
Yeah.
like
Stand out, good or bad.
I like the what's his name? Nicholas is it Holt for Lex Luthor? I haven't seen anybody do a bad job at Lex Luthor for any Superman movie.
Yeah.
So I like the way they introduced him and the way they paced him like throughout the movie. I think that was a really good job. And like you said, the way they had gave all the actors like throughout the movie, everybody had a fair share of screen time.
Yep.
And that allowed me to like now I have questions. So I'm like, okay, what's next? Is this going to be is this a connection to another movie coming out? Is the movie they just wrapped up, the TV show they just wrapped up with Green Lantern with Aaron Pierre?
Right.
Like, is that going to be connected to this? Is Mr. Terrific going to have his own movie or spinoff or whatever? I'm looking forward to these things, and the way that the action scenes were amazing.
Yeah.
Like the way the work that they put into this movie with the action scenes, like I think this was a really good start.
Definitely James Gunn fight scenes.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
definitely James Gunn choreographed fight scenes.
I don't think they're like so. Like, there's a lot of talk, of course, like saying, what's it? How does it go? Marvel has better live action movies than DC, and DC has better animated movies than Marvel.
Right.
I feel like DC is like they're kind of on their own like path right now, but I like the way things are going with them.
Yeah, I feel like they hit something that works with this film.
Yeah.
And as far as other characters branching out, Daryl, I have heard that Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner in the Lanterns show.
Yep.
Okay.
He said he got to use the F word more times than he's ever used in his career. He's doing that. There's talk about a Mr. Terrific TV show rolling out.
Yep.
There's also talk about a Jimmy Olsen TV show. Let's hear it for Jimmy, the ladies' man Olsen.
Oh my God. Well, let's also hear for the portrayal of Miss Tess Mocker. I never pronounce it correctly, but what a arc in that film from just a bimbo to hero, right?
Yeah.
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 She
Josh,
was
what-
everybody thought she was.
Mocker.
Tess
Josh,
Mocker.
one of the things you forgot to mention when you were talking about people coming in,
Yes.
we already know from the previews that Philion and Hawk Girl are in Peacemaker season 2 because we've seen it.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
And who was, well, that's a spoiler. Do we spoil it, Andy?
Will they spoil the movie for Andy? Tune in next time to find out.